There are arguably few places where you're better poised to enjoy the rains than high up in the hills. As the monsoon mists roll over the mountainside, as the fields are dappled with clouds racing by, as a veritable feast of flowers bloom and bob, Uttarakhand or Ooty is possibly lovelier than at any other time of the year. It's been called the Queen of the Hill Stations, but in that particular claim, it is neither the first nor the last to make it. That said, with the spread of its lake, the brightness of its rose gardens, and the endless miles of green, it is much lovelier than I thought it would be. Despite an unfortunate need to pander a bit too obviously to the many tourists who rush there and the overly built-up town centre, there is charm. Whether it's the pockets of sun that peek out for a bit, whether it's the horses grazing by the wayside, or the joys of a paddle across the lake. I mean, will you just look at it? Really? It is beautiful, but be warned, you will not be the only one who thinks so.
I love my husband.
Honeymooners, you gotta love them. There is much to do and even more to see. Eating though is not traditionally the reason you visit Ooty, but hopefully we can take care of that for you. So despite the call of the surrounding scenery, my adventures start, as they must, on Ooty's main street. And here in my first few hours in Ooty is the perfect gift. The sun has suddenly come out and I'm reminded of that old verse about how God's in his heaven and all's right with the world. It really feels that way right now, and therefore there's only one thing that can improve it, and that is chocolate. Lots of chocolate. Would you believe? There they are. Kingstar Chocolates is something of an Ooty institution. It's a small space, unpretentious, very, very crowded, with counters spilling over with all kinds of treats. Usually though, places like this are not known for their confectionery. I have been assured that this is one of the exceptions. And certainly if quantity is any measure, they might be right. They have about 30 to 40 types of chocolate on offer.
We started in 1942. My grandfather was the one who started it. Yeah. We've been making chocolates since then. We are a bean to bar chocolate maker. We make it from the bean, so we give you the best of quality. And 70 years we have a lot of customers who like that taste. That's the reason we are running.
So right, where does one start? With the classics, the plain milk, the deep and dark, some cashew nut, a slab of fruit and nut, or, and don't miss the spelling please, their white tobler. You know what these are? These are like really old-fashioned chocolates done very well. So you know there's that old hilly flavor, and yet they're really good, you know, which hill station chocolates usually aren't. So far so tasty, but that's just the beginning. These are not luxury chocolates by any means, but they're far better than I thought they would be. Like their warm and comforting fig and honey, the almond feast filled with a sort of crunchy nut praline. I tend to like my crushed almonds a little more marzipan-y than this, but still, I mean, up here in Ooty, who'd have thunk? They even have a cranberry one.
We have some exclusive items like the almond feast, mopokos, cranberry, blackcurrant. You will not find that anywhere else in the world except for my counter. So we've got the real dry fruit inside, which makes it authentic also.
And it's not just the fruit they focus on. They use Sri Lankan cocoa beans as their base, and it works well with some of the other permutations. The crunchy butterscotch or the made to be nibbled on all day almond cluster. And then, oh look, it's my personal favorite, some rum raisin. Very rummy raisins, I approve. And just in case that's not enough sugar for you, do look to their fudge as well. It's teeth-achingly sweet, but all dense and gooey. I'm pretty sure most customers can't get enough. So maybe not quite fit for the king they're named for, but certainly it's more than good enough for me. I can't remember needing to walk off a meal more than I do right now. Happily, I'm in just the place to do it. Except I probably should have remembered the old adage about the road to hell and good intentions. It turns out I didn't have far to trudge. A very short while away is the Ooty Coffee House. I will concede straight up that its looks are not promising. The sign, in fact, is positively discouraging. But once you get inside, well, it's not much better. I suppose I shouldn't be entirely surprised that even, how shall I say this, simple space like Ooty Coffee House comes with a view attached. Let's hope the food now manages to match up. It seems a safe bet, however, if for 4 decades now they've got the hungry heading in. And that might just be one of the reasons why. Yes, that is a ginormous dosa, large enough to double up as a telescope or even possibly rocket launcher. Here clearly size does matter. Really.
और बड़ा है ना 6 फीट 10 है ना 10 है
वो 7-8 आदमी एक साथ बैठ के खा सकते हैं.
It's just as well then that I settled for this. I have to say, if you really want to enjoy everything that's great about this dosa, make sure you drown it in just a little extra ghee. What's that other saying? Oh yes, be careful what you wish for. Next up comes the ghee roast dosa. Greasy, toothsome, absolutely terrific. And positively lethal. So yes, there is a lot of ghee here. The fact is, I am in the mountains. You are supposed to have this much to make sure that you're, what's the word, well insulated against the chill outside. And as you have perhaps noticed, I am working very hard on my insulation. And yes, with chutney and sambar hearty enough to combat the chill outside, I'm set to try the rest. The equally ghee-full masala dosa and that crisp vada. Light, oily, just what the doctor ordered. And so yes, it's all good, even great, but that doesn't begin to explain what makes the Ooty Coffee House stand out.
पार्टी तेरी ऐसी ना और मुसलमान के वेजिटेरियन और तो मुसलमान में
मुस्लिम है वो जो वेजिटेरियन के मतलब वो
पार्टी तेरी ऐसी
That's a good reason. I have another. The coffee itself. Filter style, milky, strong enough to dance on, sweet enough to have your teeth crying for mercy. This is it, isn't it?
कॉफी तो अपना ही मतलब वो सीड लगा के अपने वो लगा के फिल्टर कॉफी बनाते हैं अपनी. वो आविन मिल्क है अपना, पानी नहीं मिलाते, पूरा मिल्क में ही बनाते हैं.
Cheers. I have to say, Ooty Coffee House's house coffee is hitting the spot.
India's #1 news app just got even better. Download NDTV's new app. Fully optimized for retina display. Full screen view. Faster response time. And Sudoku. NDTV's new iPad app. Download now.